Yazol.
Hello and welcome to the Hot Kitchen of Yazol Podcast. We are the three amigos, your story chefs on duty, cooking you some of the hottest stories from out there, Sot Sukun. And now, straight out of Vancouver, Canada, the big man, Zol Kebir on the wheels of steel. Please welcome DJ Bakumba.
Yeah, DJ Bakumba in the house, guys. Welcome. Thank you.
All right. And from Edmonton, his friends call him Le Japonais, music teacher and master guitarist. Please welcome Dennis Lissa.
Hi everybody, welcome on board.
All right. And I am your chef on the grill, Dedi Seyi, Sultan of Small London, Zol Kebir Musran Selek. So welcome and a happy new year. This is going to be our first episode. So we're hoping to have more this year. And we're glad you are here. You made it to a new year. So be with us. So coming up today on Yazol Podcast, the highlights from the international scene. A passenger had to be tied down using seatbelts after causing chaos on a plane, forcing an emergency landing. That's in Russia. A deadly snake in a helmet bites a man in India. And a woman in America gets impregnated by 12-year-olds and is sentenced to 25 years in jail for molesting them. In North Korea, the story goes, once you get married, forget about going back. You stay married, or if you divorce, you'll go to a labor camp for 6 months minimum. We have the full story for you. And from the African continent, General Muhoozi, son of Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni, has quit Twitter. Of course, that's after all the hullabaloo that he has caused, including wanting to marry a Nigerian music superstar. And still staying in Uganda, musician Clever J. Of course, you remember him. He once did a song called Muhabba with Queen Z. He's been accusing his wife of witchcraft and being a bad luck to his music. Of course, the reason for his dead music career. In Zambia, people are still in shock after a boy plucked a mango that was human in face. And what do you do when a metallic object falls suddenly from the sky? Do you believe it's going to end the world? Or like Chicken Little, do you believe the sky is falling down? All right, well, this past week, of course, objects fell in Kenya and in Guinea. And from South Sudan, there was a directive on driver's licenses in Juba, which has been considered unconstitutional. We have the reason why. Musician MT7 was arrested in Juba and Juna the Star is behind it. What happened? We have the story. According to the Voice of Juba, Vice President James Wani Igga has been nominated chairman of the Stingy Men Association of South Sudan. There's the reason for his nomination. And we have those stories coming up on Yazol Podcast, of course, your favorite podcast out here. Sot Sukun, the hottest trending stories from out there. And this week, our African proverb of the week says, in the courtroom of chickens, a cockroach will never win any cases. Dennis, itasma gal fi mata cockroaches yani. ta chickens cockroach ma bag there win any case. I guess bakulo or
I think so, but it means like يعني بالعربي انه انت بالنوبه يعني انت بلبس حسب مقاس بتاعتك. Make sure يعني you kind of level up. You cannot talk in the place where people are superior than you.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take.
Okay, I think from our region there's something like lions cannot eat with hyenas or something like that. What do you think? Huh?
Yeah, I think it's just you cannot be in the weak cannot be in the company of the strong. Otherwise, you will swallow. It's very simple. Especially if you are if you look like a food to the other person, or you're ready to be annihilated, so you never better stay away. To be on the safe side.
Yeah. So that's our African proverb of the week. So to our first story, let's go straight to Russia, where a passenger named Roman Pakomov forced his Moscow-bound flight to, make an emergency landing, I think in Azerbaijan, after he went into a fit after drinking too much on the plane. Of course, the passengers on the plane saw what he was doing because he was kicking, trying to get himself out of the window of the plane. So they saw the situation was too hard, so they tied him down using seatbelts. He's 38-year-old. Of course, after being tied down, then he was able to sober up. The emergency landing happened. They got down. The plane was on the runway for some time. The police came in and took him, I think. And surprise, is like once the guy was up and the liquor kind of subsided, he was surprised to see that he was tied down actually. So they kill me young, I think kill me quick.
The vodka with vodka Russia. Probably 99% alcohol or something. Kill me quick, probably they were So I think in this situation I blame the management of the airline, because if you are a bus, if you work in a bar or you work somewhere where liquor is being consumed, of course it's your responsibility to make sure that you are able to check on your patrons and to make sure that they are not over consuming, reach a level whereby they're gonna act crazy, especially on the air. So there's always have to be a limit, and they're supposed to be checking. So only they probably just, because you are not allowed to carry your own alcohol, so the alcohol came from the plane. Somebody definitely gave it. So I think the blame definitely has to go to those guys who keep giving him alcohol and non-stop, I guess. There's all Alzado. Yeah, it's good that they tied him down. This another idiot who needs to be whipped.
Sometimes Galfinas will do Gumyang with the intention of causing chaos, and then they'll pretend like it was the liquor. What do you think, Dennis?
But for me, I think the plane crew did the right thing by having him tied down, because the safety of the entire flight is paramount. They have to make sure that people are safe on board. I don't know much about the rule about the consuming of alcohol, because I don't consume alcohol myself on the plane. Like, I don't know what people have, what are the safety procedures that people do normally. If you're intoxicated, do people allow you to get into the plane, or you are not allowed? I'm not sure. But I think the safety of all people in the plane, if you are causing that kind of a chaos, you deserve to be tied down until the flight land safely. So
I think normally if you're drunk, they'll not even let you in, right?
No,
so most probably, he got drunk using liquor from the plane. And mostly people, I guess, drink just to have a good time, right? Don't drink to cause chaos. So that's the unfortunate part with our guy. He welcomes the new year in that weird fashion. Okay, let's go to our second story, which is from India. So a man who rides, of course, the border that they have out there, took his helmet and put it down. I guess a snake sneaked in there. So when he went back to put it on his head, of course, it was a cobra right on the head. The video is out there. It's gone viral. And previously also there was a situation where somebody else also put their helmet down, and a snake got in. So when he was going to put it back on his head, he realized some kind of movement in there. He was lucky he wasn't bitten, so he put it down, and then they called the animal control guys. So they were able to see, and they picked out that snake from the guy's helmet. This is very dangerous, right? Region Dark, I think they're having issues with some of these reptiles. We remember the story from last year with somebody's balls disappearing after a python took them, and the lady who was bitten on her legs. So these snakes are not really a play, right? Well, Bakumba, what do you think?
I think those snakes are. I think in India you find monkeys roaming around. There are always people doing some stunts and doing some crazy stuff with cobras for entertainment. I see them sometimes. So I think whether religiously they're not supposed to. Most obviously, the Hindu religion, I'm not so sure, but the Buddhist, because they're not they're not allowed to kill any animals or take the life of any animal. So there's always monkeys around, snakes around. So it's only to go Magnum Maggie, my cobra, they Savia.
By the way, one of my friends in Juba sent me a clip a snake was found in the engine of a car. I think that was like a month or 2 months ago. So
is it
as it was taken for repair? Yeah, the car was taken for repair. Then they found that the snake cobra was in the engine place.
Wow.
Yeah. So
in South Sudan.
In South Sudan, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't play with the snake though. So. I think it tastes very delicious. That's what most people say. People. I think in our, I don't know how it is in part of the Equatorial, but in our area, people eat python.
We do. We eat python too.
But
the other snake, nobody eats it.
Actually, it's funny. This week I also saw a video on a crocodile, pretending to be drowning. Like it really looks like a person right in the middle of the river. And then if you are not aware, you'll jump in there thinking you're going to rescue Dennis. You're carrying yourself to be food. I think somewhere in Thailand. And the people on the bank of the river could see, like, oh, that crocodile is pretending, right? So they are that smart. So animals are not a joke, man.
Yazol.
All right. Well, let's come back to North America, where a former Tennessee teacher has been jailed 25 years, multiple counts of child abuse. That was a few weeks ago. The judge sentenced her, of course, after she gave birth. She assaulted those boys and she got pregnant. So she gave birth, the baby was taken away from her, and she's been sentenced to 25 years in jail. Of course, she's not going to ever see that child again. The child has been taken away from her. The teacher's name was Alisa McCommon, and she raped like a 12-year-old boy, and then she's basically being charged with other felonies. Quite unfortunate in this case, right? And the story goes she has as many as 21 victims. So it's not like a random thing. She's been very consistent with it. A teacher who starts to take care of kids and then she goes enjoying them, destroying their future like that. So situations that this 12-year-old boy is now a father. I don't know what is supposed to happen. Maybe parents too can take the kid already there. What's going to happen?
I think at the end of the day, since the boy is under 12, and definitely it depends on the support system you get from his parents. Most likely the kid will be put for foster care, adoption, whatever we call it in North America. Most likely depends on who the teacher is. The teacher is not going to be able to see the child anyway. So there's no mother, and the father is a child. So at the end of the day, that kid probably going to end up in foster care unless the parents of the kid want to take care of that. So it's very unfortunate that when you entrust your children to somebody's care, then they're taken advantage of. It's very unfortunate. And I think it's also that things keep going. Even in our country, it's very common, especially male teachers impregnating female students. It's also there. It's not viewed as a crime for now, but I think that people need to take note of that. That is a serious crime when people entrust their kids to somebody and you take advantage of that.
I think this lady, she's been told to register as a sex offender, right? So
definitely. Her life is finished.
So did you I'm just curious, it is like the allegation is that she raped those children, right?
Yeah.
So how was the rape determined? That's another thing. Because most of the time, normally for female, the punishment is not that severe.
Oh, you mean for the lady? No, it's because the children are under 18.
Yeah.
So in those circumstances, it doesn't matter whether they're the ones who ask for it or whatever. You can't really justify.
But they were in the relationship, but it is not consensual.
Walai, if she has like 21 victims, then she may be like a predator. Burumba,
the predator, but she's taking advantage of the teenage adrenaline.
The teenage I think it should be like she's taking advantage of them because which is considered sexual abuse, sexual. Yes. Yeah.
I think the rape is just basically the legal side of
the legal term.
The legal terms for it.
But in reality, it should just be like probably it should be the. I think the best word would be like it's basically sexual abuse because you took advantage of somebody.
Yes, that could be the right word. Yeah.
Let's go to North Korea where Kim Jong-un has allegedly ordered divorcing couples to be sent to labor camps for 6 months, with women possibly due to face even longer terms. So he said ending a marriage demonstrates antisocial sympathies and should be punished. So they basically tightening the belt. Sudan, if you're tired, you galana bereja malta kon, and then that's it. Things are good. No man, you'll go eat some very good time in Budi County, man. Bakumba, your thoughts on the story?
North Korea always is a very interesting country. Some weird rules, the Communist Party. Like I hear in North Korea most of the time when you wake up and when you ask, say, hey, how is the weather today? They said, our dear leader said today is gonna be sunny. Or our dear leader said tomorrow is going to be rainy. So the Kim family, the ruling family is viewed. They're not viewed as human. They're viewed as spiritual leaders.
Beings.
They're political and spiritual leaders at the same time. So they are mini gods. Actually, mini gods according in North Korea. So that's why even the haircut, only Kim Jong-un can cut his hair in a certain way. You cannot have that hairstyle in North Korea. You're supposed to cut it certain way. So they have this mundane, like some crazy rules. So and then this is the first one that I heard about the marriage. I didn't even know that there's no divorce in that country. So I hope if there's no divorce, I hope the system is able to follow up on domestic abuse too, both gender-based violence, both women and men. I hope so. Because if you're forcing people to just be abused, then you rather go to the labor camp. So people may get decided to go to the labor camp.
There's a case where like 12 people received the divorce decrees, so they were sent
to the labor camp.
To the labor camp to eat some hard labor there.
And those labor camps are not a joke. People die there like crazy. They actually it's like slave prison that you work until you pretty much die. So it's not a joke over there. And North Korea is always a cruel society. There's no internet there. There's no connection with anything. All these report actually usually they come through either some Chinese guy who might have sneaked in or something like that. But most of the time you don't hear anything coming out of North Korea.
So Dennis, if you're in North Korea, no way out. You're stuck.
If you're in North Korea, I think there is no way out, and then you have to make your you have to try to do your homework to know who you're getting married to before you get married, because once you get married there is no going back. I believe that it is not the business of the state to get into people's life to see who you marry or who not to marry. But I also think that also government have some responsibility, because if we look at North American society, the biggest problem that people have is the lack of father at home, and then children being born out of the wedlock. That create a big problem for us, and the state has to deal with the backslash of things that are happening in the society. They have to create a group home. They have to make sure that those children are taken care of. So sometimes maybe that's what Kim Jong-un is trying to do, trying to see that those things are prevented. But I would suggest that maybe that could have been done in the terms of the incentive. The state should incentivize people to make sure that their marriage are intact, to make sure if they have children, there are some incentives that are given to the married couple that have children, things that make people to stay together rather than breaking up the family.
I think it's going to discourage people from going for the divorce, though. They'll be like, you know what, instead of me surviving with this man or this lady, let me take the 6 months. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think, but you know, like if you look at North America here, people are not incentivized. Like there is no incentive to get married because what is the reason of getting married? Like if you look in North America, most people, that's what people say. Like after all, you get married. In a month, you're going to get divorced. And you're paying a lot of money to get divorced, right? So family are not encouraged to be together. So those are big things that those are big like social problems that we are dealing with it now, you know, like marriage breaking apart. So yeah, so maybe that's his own way of trying to enforce that people are stay married.
Well, I think they're like it's an insult to socialism and of course to Confucianism. You know? Maybe the other motivation is also population, right? They're trying to make sure people are married, staying together and producing children. So it could be that. It could be many things.
You know, like there has been like a lot of studies that has been carried around, like in North America. Like people that have, like if you look at Asian America, most of their families are intact, and the children turns out to be doing very well. Compared to Latino, compared to the black families, you know, like with the black father is not around, with the Latino father is not around, and now with people who are like Caucasian, like most of their divorce rate is going up. So we find that most of the people that are of Asian descent, they are doing very well. So it is good to be the marriage. It is good for marriage to be intact. Are their marriage all perfect? I don't think so, but they're able to work it out. Yeah.
Through thick and thin.
Through thick and thin, and then and the other study I was reading also in terms of marriage, like maybe it seemed like if, for example, if you take a case study of the Indian community, they seem to be the majority of them seem to be intact despite their problems that Dennis has alluded to. They may have some problem, but the family seem to stick together. So the suggestion is maybe we should go back to arranged marriage system where we don't care about love. Go the Indians do the arranged system and it's working. Maybe we should go back to the arrangement of our forefathers. Maybe.
Okay.
You know, like if you look at it, marriage is more of an economic enterprise. It is hard to say that, but it is more of an economic enterprise. Like back home, your brother died, and they will just ask you, "Oh, you have to marry your brother's wife."
Yeah,
so it is not about whether you love her or you don't love her. You have to make it work.
Keep it in the family. Let's go to Africa now, where in Uganda, the Chief of Defense Force, that's General Muhoozi, has kicked himself out of the X platform, which is formerly Twitter. The announcement, of course, marks the end of his decade-long presence on social media, where often he has made very controversial tweets, including trying to take over Nairobi and Khartoum in 1 day or something.
1 week or something.
1 week, yeah. And of course, he recently made very bold declarations about trying to capture a Nigerian musician. Of course, he's saying, you know, his grandfather had given him the power to do so. So I've always been thinking, like, this guy, whenever he made those tweets, they sound kind of out of this world. Was he right? Like really being serious, or was it just to keep the momentum in the social media circles, keep himself relevant in that regard? Dennis, what do you think?
I have spoken to some of my Ugandan friends that I don't know much about Uganda, but from what is coming out of the tweet, is it serious? This person who is supposed to be like the upcoming president of Uganda, is that coming from him? So a lot of people are saying that Those are just things that he does to distract people, to let people kind of focus on some other thing, and then they're busy doing their own thing.
Okay.
But for me, I think it is kind of quite irresponsible for somebody that is a president to be of Uganda, and he hold good position. Like he's the chief of the Ugandan defense force, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody like that, all his tweets supposed to be filtered, because whatever he said is official. You know, like it differs from a person that is a common person. If a common person tweets something, it is not taken that seriously. But a person of that caliber, like if they kind of tweet something that about occupying Khartoum or marrying somebody, so those are taken to be really, really serious. So I'm not sure whether this person is sane or he got a South Sudan and a married.
Well, maybe let me flip it a little. The guy across the border from us here, Mr. Trump, he just suggested that Canada should become the 51st state. Do you think he's serious? Is he going to send the troops over? Are we going to be...
I think seriously, I was talking to one of my colleagues, and he told me that this man is really serious. Like, we shouldn't take it as a joke. Hitler started like that about Sedica land. So he was starting, like, he started something like that,
As a joke,
Yeah, بالعربي بيقولوا إنه دائما يعني حرب كلام ببدأ قبل حرب, right? People start talking before the war start, right? So Trump could be serious, Yeah.
So he's just testing the waters.
Yeah, testing the water. Yeah, but going back to Janata Museveni, I think something is not in place. Yeah, fear haja off Mazolda. And then what does his father say about his tweet?
Well, he himself did mention, I think I picked this up a couple of days ago. He said those tweets are not official, right? Like anybody who thinks he really meant what he meant should actually show the tweet and the signature to attach to it. So it's like it's just a social media kind of thing. I don't think he really took it to be an official kind of policy, right?
Yeah, I don't think he take it. I don't think they take social media as a serious media of communication, especially from the ruling class, maybe in Uganda. If I thought that whatever he just right there is for entertainment, it's for jokes, but not realizing that people actually take social media postings very serious when you're a public figure. People take it very serious. They mean a lot. They don't. It's not all a joke all the time. So that's one thing that I think it's good that he has left Twitter, and then so hopefully he can leave all the other social media stuff if he doesn't know how to use them, because nowadays we consume social media. That's where we get our news from. So when you write something like that, I saw Sudan actually demanding an apology from the Ugandan government. Yeah, they wrote an official apology to the ambassador, that they need an apology from Muhoozi for tweeting that. So people take it very serious, but I guess Muhoozi probably he's having one or two for the road, and they just take his phone and started tweeting. You never know, right?
And it's made him stay popular too, because people are talking about it, people are tweeting about it. So
it makes him look relevant, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So whoever is doing it on his behalf, maybe let me think that has really caught on. But of course, he's out now. So that's Uganda. Of course, let's stay in Uganda again. Another story. Ugandan musician Clever J. We remember him with the song Muhaba featuring Queen Z. Of course, some of the young ones out there will not remember, because that was like when chickens and dinosaurs were still walking on the earth when that happened. But his name is Gerald Muonge, and he's accusing his wife of 20 years of being, a witchcraft kind of seeking person and causing him bad luck. Of course, the wife countered, saying she was being accused because she had asked for $200,000 to cover her transport, and then the husband is basically being irresponsible. Again, this is a case of juju in music, right, Dennis?
Yeah,
People who believe that juju can actually affect their music career because he's saying the wife is bad luck.
Yeah, like if you're accusing your wife, you have to come up with a concrete proof. Like, how do you know that your wife is doing those things? Because, like sometimes when things are going bad, it is easy to accuse people right around us, but not looking deep in how are we doing, like in our music, like are we kind of doing our part, or we are just slacking, and then we think that we should get a success. So accusing his wife, I don't see any base unless he come up with the concrete evidence saying that
the evidence he's saying is she has refused to give him more children because they have 2 children together, and his music career is basically dead. I don't even remember any other song from
I don't remember either.
J apart from that Quincy one. Yeah.
Okay, but accusing wife of not having children, I think it goes both ways as well too, right? Yeah, it goes both ways, because to have a children or not to have children, it is not only on wife that to be blamed. It could be from you as well. You may not. There is a lot of things that can cause a man not to have children as well. So for me, in a nutshell, I don't see any base for him to accuse his wife of doing something unless he come up with the concrete evidence saying that, okay, I've seen my wife cutting my clothes, taking it somewhere, or have consulting Babalawo or somebody, or Zolta Kujur. Then it becomes something that is kind of concrete, right? So
Lenda Nagal Sikameridi.
Yeah.
I think people when they're failing in their career, they like to blame other people. Like you said, Kilaibaji, he was a very talented musician, but actually forgot about him. He doesn't produce anything. People like Jose Chameleon, Bobby Wine, they're always at least a year they have a hit. Once, sometimes twice a year. Chameleon has been there forever. Apart from this time that he's sick, it's always every year at least there's a hit new song. So when your career is failing, then you have to blame other people. And using and then and the guinea pig, usually the witch doctors in Africa. Those are the easy scapegoats.
And he's trying to kick his wife out of the house too, right?
Yeah.
So there may be economic motivation behind it. So there's many things. Quite unfortunate, man. Just tell him go back to the studio and produce some hit songs. That's it.
Produce some music.
Yeah. So let's go to Zambia now, where a Zambian boy got the shock of his life after plucking a human mango in his village. Of course, the story was all over the Zambian media, even on the TV. So basically, the young boy, who is 8 years old, in the Chief Kalasa, Lukangaba Chief Dome of Mansa district, that's in Luapula province of Zambia. So basically, the fruit, if you look at it, it really does look like the facial features of a human of a human being. Funny enough, in Uganda also, in the Busoga area, there was a similar story of this one fruit of mango that looks like a human face. Is this a situation of superstition just taking over from logic, or what is the situation in your mind, Bakumba? When people take it that these mangoes is like, that's a human being.
I mean, in Africa we like superstition a lot. We like to. I remember was a couple of years ago when there was some grass were growing around a concrete area. In Juba, and people it became a pilgrimage area because the grass formed a cross, so it became something. But just by coincidence, there was a little bit of soil in each corner of that concrete. Obviously, the grass is gonna grow there, but people, because of superstition and religious belief, they believe it's a cross. It's the same thing. So fruits, they mean, like, depending on the direction of the sun and stuff, they can shape in any shape. So coincidentally, they may shape into a human face, Or sometimes, I remember when you used to harvest sometimes sweet potatoes in the ground, you harvest something, it looks like something else. Maybe it look like the map of Africa, it would look like something, it would look like some part of your hand or something. So those coincidentally they do happen, and I don't think it's uncommon, but because of a superstition now, our spirituality kicks in and we believe it's a message about something. But in reality, most of it is just by coincidence. It's just nature allows it to grow in a certain way, depending on whether it's the direction of the sun, whether it's natural phenomenon. But I don't really believe that there's anything to do with anything. It doesn't. There's no message there. I don't think so.
But really, if it's a human being, where are the legs? Where are the arms?
They can work. Will eat it proper.
Rumba, slice him up and chew it.
Yeah, slice the head. Let that mango up and eat it.
Yes. I know my youngest brother never used to like eating the small fish. He would never bring himself to look at the fish in the eye. Yeah, so it's tough.
Finas ma ba ko ras beta ajere ta ganamaya wala junu asana jere gata ko gae no ita.
It looks very menacing.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to Kenya now, where and this is Kenya via Guinea, of course, where objects fell from the sky with a loud boom. That was Monday 2 weeks ago. And of course, the similar situation happened in eastern Guinea, in the town of Kankan, where basically debris of satellite contraption fell. The one in Kenya looked like the bottom part of it, and the one in Guinea is, of course, with the solar panel still intact. And nobody, of course, came forward to claim those satellites as their own, like no company came forward. I think in that situation, it must be very frightening, right? To just have this loud booming thing falling from the sky. Dennis, what do you think?
I think, it is something that is very frightening for the locals, of course, if they don't know what is behind what happened, understanding is something that gives us power not to be afraid. Most of the things that we are afraid of is something that we don't understand. So to have this debris of satellite that falls down, people can associate it to a lot of things. People may associate it to something happening. There's a lot of spirituality attached to it, or people may just be Agirdunia or people. But I think the authority are the ones that are supposed to explain to people, to take to educate people. You guys are not to be afraid. This is what happened, and those debris are just the satellite debris that happen to fall in our territory. Like, it is not something to be afraid of. Yeah.
But the funniest thing is, like, the thing fell down, and in both countries, in Kenya and even in Guinea, people went and started touching this thing, taking pictures and stuff. So I'm thinking, if these things are poisonous,
absolutely,
or radioactive, basically going for the cancer, right?
Well, but this is where the authority should intervene, right?
The
cordon
off the area.
To make sure that people are protected, because people may not understand exactly what happened. But people who have the science behind what happened, they're supposed to educate people.
When you're out there, you better watch out all the time, because sometimes when you do some very funny things in public, sort bako dita. So this week, Bakumba bora Jelda zol fi Juba. Al kasoro rasta zol maasaya kida. Bakumba, this guy really does deserve a whipping, in my opinion. Go ahead.
There's a viral video that is making rounds on TikTok and all other social media platforms. Rajel Tani Reggae Kida in Juba. I don't know whether that was his neighbor or his relative. I think they were having a disagreement about something. And they disagree on something, whether he can cruise, can swim, we don't know, because the video doesn't show us anything. The only thing that the video shows when the guy go deep on the neck to good batal galis until the wood actually broke into pieces. And he was back again following him. He wanted to finish him with the hammer, and he was bragging that if he had a knife, he will even stab the guy, you know. So that guy was very, very violent, and the cameraman was laughing, but I don't think it's a laughing matter because this guy could have killed that guy. The person that hit on the neck, you get that neck injury, you can easily die very fast. That's the thing, you can send somebody to death. So Zol Zede, Jama, if no matter what problems you have, let's learn to be civil. Let's learn to be civil, not to take the law into our hands. And one small reaction of anger, you can actually kill somebody easily. So Zol de Anamaro, Okanjian or Loshunu, this guy then Nasal need to be beaten. That's the day, even traditionally they actually whipped. They are taken to be sat down and be taught a lesson that you cannot be a menace to the society, bragging that you're going to stab somebody, bragging that you're going to kill somebody. Those are those are offenses that require not even whipping, but maybe actually jail time too for that. So it's only to put tamam that's a mukto galirija tamam, so that stress alone into the Christmas day. You should know that. You should not take somebody's life. Yeah.
Can you murumafi mata kato lako?
Mata kato lizolia.
Now, when you hear that sound, you know what time it is. It's time for Beyond the Beats with Dennis Lissa, our music teacher and master guitarist. Of course, each time Dennis takes us behind the stories. Those are the stories behind the sounds and the music. So this week, apparently, juju, witchcraft is a big deal in music. we saw Clever J accusing his wife of being behind the downfall of his music career. So Dennis has the story for us, the backside to it. Let's hear what he has to say. Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, so when people ask whether witchcraft exists in music or not, it has always been a debatable kind of a question that people ask, like whether there is a juju, like in our local language we say juju. Though juju is a genre of music in Nigeria, we say juju music. Yeah, so the answer is we don't know. We don't have the definite answer, but we can go and do some of the things that we know, because when we say witchcraft in music, it exists in kind of three ways.
Okay.
The first one is people try to do some other thing to invoke kind of a spirit to get their music better, or to get a gain from their music. Okay. We have seen there is a lot, like in Congolese music, they say that so and so has done something so that his music kind of go viral. Okay. There has been an accusation. Zeafukta Franco, he died just before his music took off. So he had a song that somebody buried a horn in my backyard, and shortly he died, and after that Franco music went viral. So there are things that people do that for their music to go kind of viral. Is it something that we have a definite evidence for it? The answer is no, we don't. And also there are things that musicians do on the stage that kind of distinguish them from the normal people. Indana fi Sudan ayena arfini nupi, indana kan fi bugulushunu Zolta America de bugulu Dr. Angelo Moyo.
Yes.
When he goes on the stage, he dances, and when people are going on the instrumental bridge, and then narbaula. And those are the things that I've seen with my own mother eyes, right?
Okay.
How does he do that? That's something that is beyond normal things الناس بيعملوا في on the stage. في ناس اللي كانوا عندنا برضه في جنوب السودان اللي بنشوف زي ناس موسس لي. They have their snakes and then they play music, you know, and then things that are weird that people do on the stage. People associate those things to witchcraft because it is not something that is normal that people do. And then type of the music itself. يعني عندنا كان عيالنا there are some kind of a music that is kind of a weird. يعني في music اللي بيقولوا اسمه شنو؟ Stairway to Heaven.
Okay.
Like the introduction is kind of a very weird introduction. Like it kind of listening to it, your mood will change. It kind of invoke kind of a spirit, you know.
So what kind of music is that? Rock music?
It is rock music. There has been a lot of controversies around that music, but the progression is kind of a very weird kind of a progression, you know. So there are things that people do on the stage that are normal, are abnormal, and people associate them to kind of witchcraft. So that is the second part of it. So the third part of witchcraft in music is that people try to invoke a spirit using witchcraft. You know, like it can machine the bellet, the manas, most people who invoke those spirits, they are musicians. يعني زي bigger there are sometimes ناس اللي بيعملوا witchcraft. Most of them they are kind of near to حاجات music. So that's why people say that there is kind of a very strong relationship between music and then witchcraft.
Okay, is that the joke kind of situation, right?
Yes, joke. And then the bamulu, and then kind of it invoke kind of the spirit. So it is something that is difficult to understand, but we understand also that people who are musicians, they are kind of an interface between the spiritual world and then the physical world. And those are the things that we understand. Yeah, and masalan, most of the people that are musicians, some of the songs that comes to them, it comes in dreams. And then they play those songs and they will tell you that those songs came to me in the dream. How do they manage to get those songs, you know? And then their charisma, you can understand that they are not kind of when they are on the stage, their persona change and everything around them change. And they can enter the Michael Jackson. When he's on the stage, he's a different person. And then when who can get a more interview, he's just a very mellow kind of a person and that easy to talk to. So
that's the selling your soul to the devil kind of Illuminati thing. Right?
yes. So the debate is still continue until we get something that is very concrete. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Marat Fitanin as Beyonce who confessed to saying they have ultra ego or something like that. Sasha or something like that. Like when she performs, that other spirit takes over.
And music always spiritual anyway. Even in African tradition, music has always been spiritual, you know.
It's very
to invoke ancestors, you dance to go to war, you know.
Yes.
Music has always been spiritual.
yes. يعني طبعا يعني like Bob Marley, when he's on the stage, he's a different person altogether. Yeah, and then he speaks in tongues and he does a lot of things that are done in the church. It's true. He does speak in tongues. Whenever the spirit take over.
And of course with a little bit of the the
holy grass.
Yeah, holy grass. things go out of this world. Well, that's it for Beyond the Beats from Dennis Lissa, of course. All right.
Yazol.
Okay, now let's go to South Sudan for our first story. There's been a lot of debate online about a directive from the Department of Traffic, the Directorate of Traffic in South Sudan, where the director decided that your license, your driver's license, instead of 5 years, it can only last 1 year as a South Sudanese, and as a foreigner, instead of 1 year, it's 6 months. Of course, people were making all kinds of noise online, and I think the word got to the parliament. But let's go realistically to the constitution of South Sudan. It does say, and it's very clear in chapter 6, section 35 of the transitional constitution, where the traffic laws are based. It does state very clearly. I'm not too sure, Bakumba, this guy cannot say I got a constitutional, because police, they're supposed to be law enforcers, right? Not law creators. Now he's usurping the power of the parliament and creating laws.
Yazol.
I don't think, sorry to say, but I don't think most of those guys even have a copy of the constitution. They probably don't even know what it entails. Like even without the constitution, this one is a common sense thing that is even he can even just use his brain by just looking across the border. What do the neighbors do? What does the African countries do in terms of driver license? What is it internationally? So I think he just came up with this mundane, very useless, stupid rule that never exists anywhere. That somebody is supposed to have driver license for 1 year. I think he was just trying to find ways of collecting more revenue to eat. Yeah, because everybody's there trying to finding their ways of filling their pockets, right? So definitely this was one way of amassing resources and creating himself, proxy way of making money. So this director was just obviously useless. He shouldn't even have made the news. He should have been fired, actually, if need be. So I don't know why he's still sitting there for just coming up with something that is not even. It's not. I don't think he's even discussing in ministerial level. Nothing like that. So that's South Sudan for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think he was put in place because people really did make a lot of noise online. It doesn't make sense for you to go every year to renew your license. It's very ridiculous, right? Yeah. Dennis, MT7 is having trouble with child custody issues. Juna didn't want him to take the baby to Europe. Of course, the guy decided to take the baby, and of course, he ends up in jail.
هذا مشكلة. قال 11 سنة جوا لسه نيالما فوق.
يا نيالما وصل في جوابك.
قال 11 سنة جوا لسه نيالما. قال.
The infant nation.
Yeah.
Never grows.
Yeah. So. I don't know what is the custody laws in South Sudan.
Yeah.
Here we have a 50. It depends on how the arrangement the court order is. If it is 50-50 or the child stay with the mom, and if you are to travel with the child, both it has to be consensual.
Permission, right?
Yeah, you have to get a permission. But sometimes it is just one party is trying to penalize the other using child as they weaponize the child, right? Yeah, child is being weaponized. Kalam to Nigeria to paper the other person. Yeah. So their child custody battle, I don't think it just started. It has been something that has been going on for quite some time.
Yeah.
And neither of them has gone over it. The problem is for people who are of that caliber, like if they want to advance their music, they should put their difference aside, and try to find something that work out for both of them. Like you shouldn't use child as something that you wanna destroy the other person. With the child, not like all of you are gonna lose if you are trying to use child as something that to punish the other person with. So I am appealing to MG7 and Juna, they have to grow up and then work out their differences in a way that doesn't affect their career.
Do you think they are trying to be like the Diamond, Zarika and Jay-Z, Beyonce situation in South Sudan? The couple, because it's not the first time, it's very dramatic for them. Last time, MT7, I think he did an interview with Oxygen TV, and then he said something, and then the following day, Juna was on him. So it's always been like that between them. Bakumba, what do you think?
Those guys should just give us good music and stop wasting our time. Talking about the guys, they should give us good music because we are not even like, I mean, we don't hear their music across East Africa. We don't hear anything. We only hear this little scandal. So if they're really musicians, just give us some music, man. Because they haven't reached that level of really like to. I mean, if you are fighting among these scandals and you guys are already big, making millions every week, that will make a lot of sense. But I mean, you guys are surviving singing during wedding ceremonies, so I doubt it's worth it. Yeah.
And I think both of them, they have a bright future. MG7 or M7? MT7, yeah. He's a good musician. And then Juna Star also she's a really good musician. She came out with a lot of songs in Azante language. Those are really beautiful songs, you know. But the thing is, they shouldn't let those things to hinder their career. Sometimes you guys have to work your different. If is money the issue, or there are things that are lingering, and sometimes it's just the couple, they want to get back together,
It's the drama.
Yeah, like one hasn't got over the other person. And then they try to kind of punish the other party in a different way, right? So they should look more at their career rather than their differences,
Dramatics, right?
Yeah.
Well, staying still in the social media circle, Vice President Wani Igga was trending in South Sudan, apparently for a very benevolent act of giving money to a local league in Juba County. I think the story goes he gave $150, which was taken very unfairly. That's too little. The 1 million or like
Actually, when I read the story, I thought it meant 150,000. I don't know.
I
went back again. I saw the story, and then I went back. I said, maybe it means 150,000. When I went back, actually, it's exactly 150 US dollars. I'm like, wow, okay.
But because apparently now he's being conferred the chairmanship of the Stingy Men Association of South Sudan. I mean, no, my question is, like, why did many Junubin, because this is all over. They took it very negative. Honorable Odi Gurush Demake Fire. It's his honest money, Mio comes in. So if he gave a lot, for example, Junubin will start saying,
corruption. He
gave too much money because he's stealing our oil money. Now he gave 150, maybe out of his own pocket. He's a civil servant. He didn't receive anything for how long? About a year or something. Still, it's a problem. Junubin der Shuniat.
For me, like it is how we perceive the government. When I heard the news, I thought it was 150,000. But at the end, I found out that it is
150.
It is just 150. But you're right. He's just a civil servant. Where will he get the money from? Sometimes we assume that every government official, they have money. But where do they get money? It is from our money that they use, right? They cannot take you cannot assume that they will get 150,000 US dollar and then donate it. So I think it is just something that we have to work on ourselves to see that, every government official is like any other person. As we struggle, I don't want to say they do struggle as well. Because but if they have that money, then we should be questioning them. Where are they getting those money? Like if let's suppose that Waniga contribute 150,000. Where did he get this money from? That's something that we should question ourselves. So I think we should write a petition to the Stingy Men Association to look into the nomination. Some of the criteria
you'd second his chairmanship.
Yes.
What you're saying?
maybe you're just trying to show an example of
maybe
but, show an example.
But genuinely, if you look at it, there is nothing wrong for him to contribute 150 if it is his hard-earned money.
Yeah.
And of course they've already shown those football clubs the tournaments whatever ways of making money. They just did the big conference on sports. They should look for sponsorship.
Private sector,
figure out ways of generating money instead of depending on benevolence.
That's right.
Be it from politicians or from little people like us, right? Our hard-earned money should not come easy, and when it goes to you, please appreciate. Because I think it's also like even from the diaspora. There's that complaint. Sometimes people will be demanding, send me $5,000, send me $2,000, and then you send the little you have, and then people are looking at you as like, why is he so broke like that? Maisha can sab matalwara, kind of situation. I don't know what is it. Is it because like people are feeling very self-entitled, or was the reason, Bakumba, in your opinion?
I think we have like I always tell people, I say it's very unfortunate, but we have a culture in our country. We are literally a begging nation. Like people think the beggar is the guy on the street, but from top to bottom we are a begging nation actually, because we're not doing that much in terms of production. A lot of our services have been offered by the non-international organizations. What do you call that? That's begging. Those are money coming from somewhere that people have to write projects. And what is project? That's being a beggar. When you're writing project, you're basically begging for funding. So people kind of it became a norm. It became normalized that we rely on other people. We rely on the UN. We rely on Naskoparal Tukuma, we rely on our uncles, we rely on our brothers who have a job. So there's that sense of culture of a begging nation from top to bottom, that we are just a bunch of beggars. That's only my take. But it only take time that if we are able to get into our head that you need to produce, you need to have a means of production so that you can be able to progress. You need to produce something. If you want to farm, you need to farm and sell your product. If you have service to offer a service, get paid for that service. But this culture is unsustainable. People are getting sick and tired of us. And and people are very proud. Oh, Walai, project I approved Yazol. Walai, 5 years and I'm No, you're not producing anything. You wrote a project that's probably not going to help anybody. That makes you a beggar. You're not producing anything at the end of the day. So that's my take, So people feel that refugee mentality of helplessness, it doesn't seem to get away from us. Yeah.
Is it from eating too much belila in the camp? So
but not everybody was in the camp. No, actually majority of people were not in the camp. There are a lot of people who never left Juba. But but because Juba had IDP, so the whole city was IDP camp.
The whole city,
The whole city was IDP camp anyway. So they are right,
So I don't know. It's high time we are actually like slowly change our mentality too, because it's easy for us to have that very high expectation. And being the vice president, we expect that he should match up, right? It's like Zol can Mosoran select Zana Kida, and then you go, you'll be like, okay,
Tabania.
Tabania.
When the Gerisa.
Well, that brings us to the end of first episode for the year 2025. Of course, we are very glad that you've been with us, and we look forward to, of course, having more episodes like this in the coming year. We thank you for your support. Please don't forget, always like, share, subscribe, and of course our YouTube name is Yazol TV, and this is Yazol Podcast. Please log in there, subscribe, and you'll always get your episode every Sunday 8 p.m. You can also follow us on TikTok, myself, Bakumba and Dennis, on Facebook, Our names are listed in each episode. You'll find our names linked there. We take this chance, of course, to thank you again. And once more, thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bakumba. And may God bless you out there. And may God bless our good country, South Sudan.